Students, so hello students, so welcome back to the practical session of enterprise Java. Now we start with practical number 2C, that is related to sessions. So what this practical states is create a servlet demonstrating the use of session creation and destruction. Also check whether the user has visited the page first time or has visited earlier also using sessions. So what we have to do over here is we have to create a servlet that will track the number of users visited on that particular servlet if the visitor has visited it first time or has visited it multiple times, but using session creation and destruction. So first let's understand what is sessions. So sessions are a great way of storing temporary data about the visitors. So it is not a permanent data, but it is a temporary data, right? It is a temporary data. Now sessions are used when the website does not want this data to be accessible external to the web server, right? We'll come what do we mean by it should not be accessible external to the web server. Sessions are a mean to store and track the client data while they navigate through a series of pages or page iterations on the website. So here important is series of page and page iterations. So what is sessions? We have already studied cookies in the previous session. So cookies are stored during the server side, but here they are stored in such a way that if we close the browser, the whole session will get destroyed. So session is basically keeping the temporary data till the time my browser is open. The data is stored over there. Once the browser is closed, the data is deleted or it is terminated, right? So what it states over here that it should not be accessible external to the web server means if I close the browser, then my website session should not be accessible after that. So it should not state that it's external to the web server. It states like that. So what do we mean by the third statement, that if in a website I have 7 to 8 pages, so if I iterate through all the pages, the 7-8 pages, my session should be active. It should not happen that from page 1 to page 2, page 2 to page 3 my sessions get terminated in between. So till I navigate through my website, my session should be there till I close the browser or I close the tab of it. So what do we mean by session creation and session termination? Destruction is to create an instance. So when we start something, we create a session of it. We create an instance of it, right? Creating an instance means we are starting that particular thing now or the application. And destruction means is to destroy it, to terminate it. So we have created an instance of a session. Now we will destroy the instance of that session. So now let's jump to the code. So we are back to our NetBeans. So for that we have to create a new project, right? A web project. And here we'll rename it as practical 2C. Click on next and finish. So here our project is created. So again what we will do over here is we will rename the title of index.html as session demo, and in the body section we will remove the data and we will create a form tag. Now form tag contains two things, one is action and another is method of it. So method will be post. So here we will take input from the user, that is the username. We'll type over here input type is equal to text, name is equal to user ID, and after that we'll have one button through which we can submit our data. Input type is equal to submit, value is equal to submit, right? We are done with these two things. Now we have to create a servlet which will accept this username. So we'll give it the name as page 1, click on next, add to deployment descriptor and click on finish. So here we'll remove the unwanted data first, and after that, first thing we will do over here is in the action part we will add the servlet page for it to redirect. Now again we'll write public void do post because our method is post request http request http servlet response. Right, we are done with it. Now we'll add throws IU exception, servlet exception. We are done with these two things. Now after that, the two common things which we have to do is response.set content type text/html character set is equal to UTF-8, and the another thing is print writer out is equal to response.get writer. We are done with these two things. The third thing which we have to do over here is get the username. So the third thing we actually have to do over here is get the username, which we have done in the index form, in the form tag. So user ID. So this user ID is the name which we have entered over here. After that, since it is again a servlet, we have to write the HTML title, everything. Here we'll write HTML head title. In the title we'll write page 1, close the title tag, close the head tag. The body tag we will start from below, and again a good practice of coding, we will first close the body tag, then we'll close the HTML tag. Now this is done. Now what we have to do over here is we have to check through the HTTP session part. Right, so here we are creating an object of HTTP session, that is HTTP session is equal to request dot get session. Right, so here we have enabled the session true. Now we have to import HTTP session. So we have imported the package. Now we have to check whether the instance of this is created, means if it is for the first time or it is not. If it is for the first time, that what we have to do is println. Okay, so what we will do over here is if it is for the first time, we will change the body color. If it is not for the first time, then we will have another body color for it. So we will get an idea whether it is for the first time or not. So background color will be yellow, and here the background color will be gray. Okay, so if it is for the first time, then what we have to do is we have to set the attribute for it, that is set attribute. Again we have two things, the key and the value. So here the first parameter we will write the username, the uname, and the second parameter is the visit count, and that will be 1. Now what we have to do is here we don't have to add this into response because already HTTP is itself is a response. So the next thing we have to do here is to show the user a print message that you have been here for the first time. Welcome for the first time. Okay, we are done for the if condition. Now we move to the else condition. Here already we have given that the body color should be gray. Now we will write a response to display the user that you have welcome again, means he has already visited the page first time. Now it will visit again. Now we'll create a counter variable over here and we'll convert it into integer.pass because we have to get, because if it is not for the first time, then we have to get the instance of it, get attribute, and from the attribute we have to get visit of it, right, plus 1. So what it will do over here is, now we have to convert this into string first. So once we convert it into string, then it will convert it in, because HTTP session is an object. So from that object, it will convert to string. From the string, it will convert to integer, and then it will add +1 to it. Right? On the next line, we'll print the number of occurrence it has already done. So here we'll write in the h1 tag that you have visited and the count of it. This welcome again will again be in h1 tag. If we want, we can. If we don't want, we cannot. That is up to us. Welcome again. This welcome part also we can add it in an h1 tag. Right? So we have done this much. Right? Now what we have to do over here is, once we are done with it, we have to increment the counter of it. So basically what we will do over here is hs.set attribute, right, and the visit part, and the visit part we have to increment the counter over here. Here we don't have to convert it into integer because already it is an object type, and it will automatically take the integer part of it. So once we are done with this, now we have to check the ID of it. Right? So here we'll have h1 tag opening closing, and here we'll just add the session ID. So basically, if it is for the first time, we will not get any session ID. We will actually get, but if we don't have any other thing, then it is fine. Right? Over here we'll get hs.get ID. So here we will get the session ID of the user. Println in the double quotes between h1 tag, we will have you logged in at, and here we will get new java.util.date. We are converting the HTTP session date and time, the creation date and time, into the actual date and time. Right? So hs.get creation time. So it will create the HTTP session create time to the actual date time over here. Now we will create more 1-2 pages so that we get an idea if we traverse from one page to another page. So again, we'll create anchor tags. In that we will add page 2. Here we will write page 2. Same we will copy and we will change it to page 3. Right? So now we have done this. Okay, we'll create one more page, that is page 4. And what about if we want to terminate this? So we'll create one more, that is logout servlet. And here we will write click to terminate session. So basically these 3 pages are for to navigate to different pages, and the fourth anchor tag is if you want to terminate the session. Right? So here we have created the session. If you want to terminate, we have to create this session, and through that session we will be able to destroy a session. So we'll create page 2 servlet. Next, add to deployment descriptor, click on finish. So we have created this. Now we'll create another one, that is page 3. In the page 3, again click on next, add to deployment descriptor, click on finish. That is again done. So we'll have page 4. Page 4, click on next, add to deployment descriptor, click on finish. And the last page we have to create over here is of the logout servlet. Logout servlet, add to deployment descriptor, and click on finish. So now we move to page 2. First we'll remove all the unwanted content inside this. Also first we'll remove the unwanted content. Here, as we did in the last time, we'll do get, because we have clicked on a particular link. That's why it is always a request. response, right? The throw section will be as it is, which is there. Servlet exception, IO exception. Again, the same response dot set content type, text/html, character set is equal to UTF-8, print writer, out is equal to response dot get writer. So these two things are done. Now after that we have to check, since it is a servlet page, so again we have to write all the HTML head and everything. HTML head title, it will be page 2, title close and head close, right? So here we have written page 2. Now we have to check whether the session http session hs is equal to request dot get session. Here we'll write false, because we don't know whether previously there was a session or not, so we'll write false. Now what we have to do over here is, since we know that it will always get a session over here, so we'll write first the name of the page. So here in h1 tag we will write welcome again to page 2, right? After that what we will do is, we will get the visit count, we will display the visit count, we will change the visit count, and all the things which we did previously in the previous step, right? So again we will do is, we will write count is equal to integer dot parseInt. First we have to convert it into string, hs dot get attribute, hs dot get id, get attribute visit +1, right? Now we have to display on the screen and tell the user that how many times they have visited. Now again h1 tag, you have visited count times, so it will display the user how many times they have visited the page, right? Now we have to set the attribute, we have to change the counter, so we'll change the counter. So we are done with this. Now next we have to do is, we have to again do the same part over here, that is this part. So instead of page 2 we will do page 1, all the things will be the same, right? So this part will be repeated in all the other pages, that is page 3 and page 4. So it will be repeated over here. So we'll write page 3 over here, right? Instead of page 1 we'll write page 2 over here, right? Page 3 we are on already. Now page 4, again we'll change the content over here, we'll write page 4 over here, we'll write page 4 over here, we'll write page 3 as the title, page 4, so here we'll write page 2, page 3, page 3, right? So from page 4 we can go to page 1 to page 3 and the terminate session 1. So last we will move to logout servlet. Now here we have to destroy our session. Public void do get. So what we will do is, we'll copy and we'll just remove the unwanted part which we want, right? So we require all these things over here, not all, but we will delete this part at least, We will also delete this part. We will require the remaining part over here. So one thing we have not done is we have not started the body and we have not closed the body. That we will do first in all the pages. So body tag close and HTML tag close. So on page 2 it is done, on page 3 it is done, on page 4 we have done it, on page 5 we have done it. Let's check. Okay, page 1 it is already done. In the page 2 body tag is added. In page 3 we will add the body tag. In page 4 we will add the body tag. In logout also we will add the body tag. Right, now what we have to do over here is, here we just have to get the session. We don't know, whatever the scenario is, we have to delete the session, right? If HS is not equal to null, if means if the session is active, if the session is active, what we have to do is we have to invalidate it. So invalidate it means that we have to destroy the session. So in h1 tag over here we will write you have been logged out, and the body and the HTML tag stays as it is. So we'll run the project. So here we'll write our own name, right, and we'll click on submit. So here we have got welcome for the first time, because it is for the first time. We have got the session ID because the session is created even if we have logged in. Here we have got Monday 27th November 1 p.m. and everything. Here we have got all the links below, page 2, page 3, page 4. Now we'll navigate to all other pages. So we have navigated to the second page, counter is incremented, we have got the session ID, we have got this at what time we have logged in. Okay, so we click here to terminate the session. So it has displayed us the message that you have logged out. Basically, if we click on any of the pages, it will increment our counter. Now if we reload again, it will give us an error, that null pointer exception, because it has not initialized the session. And again the message comes over here that welcome for the first time. If we click on page number 2, okay, yes. So again we click on this, so it will tell us welcome for the first time. If we click on page number 2, and so on. If we continue till all the pages. So that's it from this practical. Hope all of you have liked the session. Thank you.